Point we have is the extraordinary general meeting. See, there is only one general meeting known as AGM. So there is only one AGM in every calendar year. Apart from that AGM, you can call n number of times your general meetings of the shareholders, which is known as EGMs. Now the board may, wherever it deems fit, call the EGM of the company. That is the members meeting between two annual general meetings. Now, the proviso says that the EGM, other than the wholly owned subsidiary of a company outside India, shall be held at any place within India. Simply speaking, any Indian company can call the EGM in India at any place in India. No city of registered office to be looked upon. You can call EGM at anywhere in India. What is the exception? The wholly owned subsidiary of a company incorporated outside India. That means the holding company is outside India. The subsidiary, wholly owned subsidiary having 100% shareholding outside India may be called, the EGM of such a company may be called outside India because all the shareholders reside outside India. So they can call the general meeting at their country as well. Otherwise, if the shareholders are in India, you can call the AGM at any place within India. This is the context. So the AGM shall only be conducted in the same city, town, or village in which their registered office is situated. If you want to go at any other place other than the same city, you need to have all the members' unanimous approval in advance. But in the EGM, it is not so. You can conduct EGM n number of times anywhere in India. Now, who calls the meeting? Who calls the EGM? First is the board may call the EGM by on its own motion. Second thing is the members may also requisite or may also ask the board to call a meeting. So the board may suo moto call the meeting, and the board shall also conduct the EGM if the request has been made by the shareholders. What is the requisition? In case the company having share capital, if the total number of members having 1/10, that is 10% of the paid up capital having voting rights. If your paid up capital is, say, for example, 100 crores equity shares. So the members, total number of members having 10%, that is 10 crores rupees shares. If they had required or if they had given the notice to the board that we need certain matters to be conducted urgently, so the board shall call the EGM if at least 10% shareholders having voting power had required the company, had served a notice to the company's board. If the company is not having share capital, then at least 1/10 of the voting power. That is, it may be guarantee amount or anything. So 10% of the paid up capital having voting right or even 10% of the voting power. Shareholders may require the board by giving a notice to call the EGM and to conduct certain matters urgently. Right? They may call an EGM within the period specified. We are talking about the same in subsection 4. We will be discussing it. Subsection 3 provides that the requisition made by the members shall set out the matters of consideration. Why you want to call it? What is the urgency? What all matters we need to come and discuss over there? So that all the other members, when they will be served such a notice, they will have an advanced understanding of why the members, certain members had called the meeting, what is the agenda, and what we are going to discuss over there. Now, what is the manner of calling the general meeting by the board on requisition of the members? This is specified in the subsection 4. So subsection 4 defines that if the board does not within 21 days from the date of valid requisition in regard to any matter, proceed to call a meeting for the consideration of that matter on a day not later than 45 days from the date of requisition, the meetings may be called by the requisitionists themselves within 3 months. See, this is a very, very critical subsection. 3 timelines have been defined. One is 21 days, one is 45 days, and one is 3 months. So what are the difference between the three? Let's try and understand. The members have made a valid requisition to the board of directors. That means the members have given a notice to the company that we will need to call the general meeting. That is the EGM. So the board need to take the action of calling the meeting. That is, the board of directors shall distribute the notice to all the members within 21 days from the date of receiving the requisition under subsection 2. So today, say for example, on 1st of January, the board had received the requisition from 10% voting members. So from 1st of January till 21 days, say for example, 21st of January. Till 21st of January, the board shall take necessary actions to call a general meeting. That means from up to 21st of January, the board will issue a notice to all the members to conduct an EGM. And up to which date the meeting will be called by the board of directors? 45 days from the receipt of the requisition. That is from 1st January till 21st or 22nd January. You need to issue the notice. And in the notice, what will be the date of calling the EGM? 45 days from 1st January itself. Say for example, 31 plus 15 more days, say for example, 14th or 15th February. The meetings will be called by the meeting shall be conducted by the board. For that meeting, the notice will be issued before 21st of January. And the meeting will be called before 25th of February, 15th of February, that is 45 days from the requisition itself. So 2 conditions are there if the valid requisition has been received by the board of directors. Firstly, the notice of conducting the meeting will be issued within 21 days, clearly specifying that the meeting has been called, and the meeting will be called within 45 days of the requisition date only. Simple. If the notice is not issued within 21 days by the board, or if the meeting is not being called within 45 days of the requisition, then the shareholders may themselves call a meeting. The members will themselves issue a notice to all the other members, and they may call the meeting from the date of original requisition date within 3 months. So 21 days is also counted from the requisition date, 45 days is also counted from the requisition date, and 3 months is also counted from the requisition date only. If from the 3 months, 45 days has already been elapsed, still you have 45 more days. The shareholders may call the general meeting at any time within 90 days or 3 months from the main requisition date. So 3 timelines are there. From the date of requisition, within 21 days, board will issue a notice. From the requisition date, within 45 days, the meeting will be called by the board of directors. And if the meeting is not called, from the requisition date, 3 months, within 3 months, the shareholder will themselves call a meeting by issuing the notice to all other members. Simple. So a meeting under the above subsection 4 shall be called and held in the same manner by the shareholders, in the same manner as the meeting is called and held by the board. So what all legal procedures the board needs to follow, the shareholders shall also follow the same in respect to the requisition meeting under subsection 4. And if the costs are to be borne for booking any hotel, for conducting the meeting, for printing the notices or agendas or whatever, the reasonable expenses which the requisitionists have incurred shall be reimbursed to the requisitionist by the company itself. The company will pay to the requisitionist, and the company will receive or recover the same from the defaulting directors remuneration. The company will deduct the remuneration and adjust the expenses and will transfer those reasonable expenses to the requisitionists, because the directors are the failures at this particular point of time. So the company will reimburse to the requisitionist, and the company will adjust the same amount from the director's remuneration under 197. So very important point was subsection 4, which defines that within 21 days, the board shall issue the notice. Within 45 days, the meeting will be conducted. And if not so, then from the date of requisition, within 3 months, the requisitionists will call the meetings by themselves.